with the UK even stopping its citizens from visiting 21 states in Nigeria, most of them commercial and tourism hub of the nation. There is IMN members protest going on in Abuja almost on daily basis now. There is the Ruga issue settlement that has not been concluded. There are issues of cultism and other clashes all over the country. What's your take on, because the government has said that they have been able to technically douse the security issue and overcome. What's your take on this claim by the government?
Well, you cannot use propaganda to solve major problems like security, because they come up to the surface on a daily basis in different parts of the country. I know that in about 25 states in Nigeria today, there's active internal crisis. Either they are, herdsmen displacing farmers, or you have Boko Haram actively killing and taking over territory in the northeastern part of the country. Even during the Civil War, not as many senior military officers were killed as we have now. From what I heard, a lot of military officers are getting killed by Boko Haram. We have kidnapping, we have general crime. But not to waste our energy and saliva on what's going on. We're faced with an incompetent government. They don't have any solution to this problem. And they just keep lying to the Nigerian public that they have found a solution to the problem. Those of you who are killing, I say this to people who are killing themselves over how to label the crisis of security in the country, not to waste their time using buzzwords, Fulani herdsmen. They just found out that Ondo State government had hired Fulani herdsmen to be carrying out, security and vigilante activities. That tells you something, that the official state security apparatus are broken down. And that was what we're saying in 2019 during the election. That instead of wasting your time just discussing security, just fire the commander-in-chief of the Air Force, because he's failed in his duties. But you see, he came back. And before you could say Jack Robinson, Zamfara is in crisis. The whole of the Southwest is under siege. The Southeast is also under siege. Kidnappers are roaming freely, armed robbers. So, it's insane amount of security challenge for the country.
So if you had been president, what are the solutions you would have preferred to bring all of these things to a halt as quickly as possible?
I would have fired all the generals who are in the military. Told the IG of police that you are in a revolving door. I give you 2 weeks, you can't solve a problem, another IG comes in, until we find the IG that knows how to do his job. And when I said it, people were shouting, but imagine what Buhari did. When he came back into office, he extended the tenure of the same security service chiefs that had been responsible for security failures around the country today. So they're not serious. And I would have stopped the business of security, because part of what you're saying, you heard that an army officer was being escorted somewhere by junior officers, and they made away with 400 million naira. That tells you that this business of security is big business. They're probably just stealing the money meant for procuring arms, feeding troops that are on the front lines, and the result you get is this state of siege. In Nigeria today, probably more people die every day of violence, conflict. We have reached a level that can be described as a civil war, a low-level civil war. Even in Syria, in Afghanistan, and Yemen, I don't think that many people die every day as that we have in Nigeria.
All right. Away from the security issue, during election, you proposed the 100,000 naira minimum wage for workers. And after that, the 30,000 naira minimum wage was approved by the federal government. But there are still back and forths with the issue of trust and the desire to settle grey area, especially for senior cadre staffs whose salary ought to progress accordingly in percentage wise. What's your take on the whole imbroglio in the work?
They were never interested in even increasing the minimum wage. It was the campaigning that we did at that time that forced their hand to do it, because it became a campaign and election issue. It has never been their interest to pay workers. They are more interested in paying themselves. As you know, there was a senator the other day who was whining that 8.5 million naira is not enough for him per month. That was their first allowance. But but you have workers who work from 9 to 5 p.m. every day or 8 to 4 p.m. every day. They go to work sometimes on weekends, and you are paying them. You propose to pay them 30,000, but you decided to pay, level 1 to 6. Those levels are almost non-existent within the workforce. It has to go all the way to the end. We had proposal at that time that would have gone to level, I think, 14. The 2 other levels we would have reviewed, because when you look at the disparity between those levels, there's a big gap. So, and the number of government workers within level 16, I think 14 to 16 or whatever that was, weren't that many. So we could have taken care of the problem. We had resolved how we're going to get money. We had resolved how the money would be allocated. I would have saved a lot of money from wastages, corruption, innovative ideas that we're bringing to bear on the economy. And we would have been paying workers 100,000 naira by now without betting an eye. But these guys, again, have no idea how to do this. But most importantly, they have no intention to pay workers. They're not interested in paying workers. I think, the general perception up there is that when you pay workers a certain amount of money, it makes them demand more.
Lastly, the general economy has been on a bearish run, checking from the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Did you say strong?
On the bearish run.
Okay.
For checking from the stock exchange.
Maybe you should break it down to my level. What is bearish run?
That is, we've been losing a lot of money, and a lot of foreign direct investment are pulling out of the system. The stock exchange always ending up in red instead of green. What's your take on the whole issue that has been the bane in the economic sector generally?
It's very simple. Security is one major reason why anybody will come and invest in any country. We have failed completely in that regard. The other reason why people invest is infrastructure. We failed completely. We don't have electricity. Our roads are bad. We don't have ability to move goods and services around the country. We have 200 million people who are just trapped in this place. So the figures that you get sometimes saying that the economy is improving, inflation has reduced, they are all manipulated. You knew, I think you heard about a month or so ago, that the central bank lost 500 billion.
563
billion. And they were trying to cover it up. If we hadn't